Dale Tackett in the Truth Project begins a series with this very provocative question that I've thought about a lot over the years since it was posed. And he asks this question, he says, do you really believe that what you believe is really real? And if you let that question sink in, that's quite the question. And Dale uses the analogy, which is very helpful, of the idea of prayer. And he talked about the fact that if we really believed that when I am praying, I am having a conversation with the creator of the universe, and that he is listening to me, if I really fully believe that in the fullest sense, he says I'd never leave my closet, which is true. I mean, the way we think about talking to somebody important, and if we were talking to had an opportunity to talk to somebody important, and we were in their presence, we'd never want to leave. We'd want to enjoy it. So this profound question that Dale asks is really drawing attention to this chasm that exists between what we believe, but very rarely do we experience, fully grasp in the real sense what it is we believe. And when those times happen, they're beautiful moments. I think about Hebrews 11 and that great triumphant chapter of faith. And he talks about faith is seeing the invisible, that we understand that we live in a physical world. And so what is real to us is what we can see with our eyes. And so if we can see it with our eyes, then it's real. If we can't, then it's not as real. And so the deeper our faith is, the more real the spiritual world, which is invisible around us, is. It reminds me of Jesus in John 16, when he was telling the disciples, you guys are going to abandon me. The whole world is going to turn against me, and you're going to abandon me. And yet, he says, I am not alone, because the Father is with me. And in John 16, Jesus is just about to face the most fiery trial of human history. And everyone has abandoned him. And yet his faith was so full that he wasn't alone, because he had the Father with him. And without question, the natural way that we get to that point in our life, that our faith matures to the point, is through trials. And so as I look back over the last 5 years of my life, and just beyond words, the various colored trials that we've been through for a lot, it has been unbearable. And yet, it is that fiery trial, as Peter describes, that fully worked so that I could have the experience that I had yesterday. And it was an experience in where what I knew became real. And so I'd woken up, I'd gotten home late the night before, and so I went to bed and woke up the next morning to this just spectacular sunrise, looking out over the gorgeous view from our bedroom window and just seeing the Columbia River and the snow-capped mountains, beautiful orange and pink sunset. And I was just waking up to this, and I'm looking out, and I'm just thinking, God, you are amazing. And this was in a context of a lot of stuff still going on, but yet at the same time, there was a lot of major answered prayers in the last couple of days. And as I'm starting my prayer, I have this sudden full realization that he's beside me in a way that I've never sensed before. And it was dramatic. It was electric. And it was so real that I just began to weep. And for me, that's a big deal. I don't do that. I've done it a lot during these 5 years, but I just wept. And as I sat there in the bed with tears, just feeling the tears, I was just thinking about, and I'm talking to him, like he's right here. And it was just profoundly real. And what was also interesting as this moment began, that the mental image that I had in my head was of someone from my past. You know, I think most of us are the same. When we mentally try to picture God, we picture, you know, like Colonel Sanders or somebody, you know, or Santa Claus, whatever it is we picture. But in that moment, it was my Uncle Jim. And those of you who are a part of my family, you understand why Uncle Jim would appear as a mental image of the Father, the Creator, because he was just a beautiful man. But I realized after the fact that both of my grandfathers had passed away when I was very young, before I knew them. And so I started to realize that Uncle Jim was that grandfather figure in my life. And he was a beautiful, beautiful soul. So it made sense for, as this moment began, to have a mental image of my Father that I'm talking to, the Creator of the universe. And I'm talking to him, and I'm praying, and I'm weeping, and I'm just thanking him for getting me to this point. It was like talking to a friend, and one who was genuinely interested in what I had to say. It was profound.